Hey guys, so today I wanted to do kind of a show and tell video. I've been out working in my garden this morning and I went out to go check on all my plants and I noticed how many of them are looking so good right now, and we're almost to the end of October. So that's amazing. I just thought I would gather up all the really pretty ones and tell you a little bit more about them. And I know that right now it's a little bit hard, especially in the colder states. If you were to go to your garden center, even the one that I work at, my parents' nursery, we're not carrying all of this stuff right now. We're kind of buttoning things up for the season. But I thought that it's a great time right now to start planning for next season. So if you can see what these things look like right now and kind of think forward for next fall and what you want to be seeing at this time next year, that this might be a good way to do it, just to show you a few of these things. And in the end, I would love to know which one of these is your favorite. So be paying attention and let me know in the comment section below which one you like. Okay, so let's start with the first one. This is a Prairie Winds Blue Paradise. Common name is Little Bluestem, and this one right here is the whole reason why I wanted to show you these plants, because I've got like 6 or 7 of these clustered together in one section of my driveway, and it's the most stunning sight you will ever see. I'm gonna plant them just like that out in the landscape. They're kind of a silvery blue during the season, and then they change to like this deep purple wine color that's just, it's so pretty. They're a zone 3, so they're really tough, and they grow about 3 feet tall and 2 feet wide, so they're not a huge, massive grass. They won't take up a massive amount of space, and they like sun and are adaptable to a bunch of different soil types. So I just really think that this is a phenomenal grass. Next up is this DOLCE APPLETINI HEUCHERA, or coral bells is the common name. This was featured in one of our videos just recently where I talked about the differences between HEUCHERA and HEUCHERELL and TIARELLA. Anyway, this one is new in garden centers next year, and I love the foliage on this one. That bright chartreuse green, kind of the silvery variegation. The thing about HEUCHERA is most of the time we grow them for their foliage because their foliage is so beautiful and there's so many different colors, but this one has fire engine red blooms that come up off of the foliage about this high, and they're just so striking. So I'm so excited for these to be available next year. You'll be able to find these in your garden center. The next one is this HOPSCOTCH HEUCHERELL, which I went over this one in the same video I talked about the HEUCHERA here. And the HEUCHERELL is a blend of a HEUCHERA and a TIARELLA. You get a HEUCHERELL. And so these are grown mostly for their foliage as well. They do get creamy white kind of bottle brush like flowers in late spring, but they're mostly known for their foliage. I mean, the shape of it and the color, it starts off this beautiful coppery orange and then mellows to this darker color. But these ones, both the HEUCHERELL and the HEUCHERA, are great for shade to part shade areas. So they give you that color and that structure without needing a ton of light to do it. Then there's this Black Cherry Frost DIANTHUS. This is another one that's new for next season, so you'll be able to find this in your garden centers next year, 2017. These have a semi-double flower that are this beautiful velvety red with kind of a light pink margin around the edge. But the thing I like, well, I love the blooms, but the thing I really like about these are the silvery blue foliage that these have. I just love it. They stay shorter, they don't get huge, so you can put them as a nice border, and they like sun to part sun, so you don't have to put them in a spot that has tons and tons of sun in order for them to perform. So they start blooming early summer, and they're a continuous bloomer, so they'll come out and just bloom like gangbusters, and then they'll just continuously bloom throughout the season. So I think that this is a great one. And then right next to it, I've got this Paint the Town Magenta DIANTHUS, which I love that name, but I love the flowers. If you get in close to it, look at the detail on this. It looks like 2 little antennae coming out of the middle. I think that's a stamen. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I love these plants because they actually prefer slightly alkaline soil. Hardly anything likes alkaline soil, and that's what we have where I live. So if anything's gonna perform and look like this with our soil, that is just wonderful to me. So you'll be seeing a lot of these in my garden. And then I've got the Veronica White Wands, which I'm a total sucker for any kind of like spike-shaped flowers, anything like delphiniums, foxglove, Veronica. These like sun to part sun, and they grow about 14 to 16 inches tall and about 16 to 20 inches wide. And they're a great cut flower, which I love to make flower arrangements for my house. So I've got a few of these sitting out in the driveway, and I am planning on putting these in so I can have them next year for arrangements. And then right here is an Autumn Frost Hosta. I love hostas. I've got a lot of shade in our new garden, a lot of trees. So to get a hosta that doesn't get huge is wonderful. And then also the variegation. Anything variegated in a shady spot really pops. So I really, really like that about this hosta. And it also produces in the summertime a light lavender flower that attracts hummingbirds. So I think that's another wonderful thing about that. Okay, so moving on, there are a couple evergreens I put in here, which obviously they look good in the fall, but I think that they're worth mentioning because as we are in this season, moving into winter, I start thinking about that in my garden. Like, what do I have out here that I'm gonna actually still be able to look at during the winter months when there's snow on the ground? So I brought over a Sprinter boxwood, which these are an improved variety of the winter gem. They're faster growing, and I just love the glossy green of boxwoods. I'm such a huge fan of them. I plan to have them everywhere in my yard. In fact, we're gonna do another landscape project, a formal, like starting a hedge project this week. We're gonna film it. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then right next to it, there's an Anna's Magic Ball Arborvitae, which we planted in our landscape makeover behind our gazebo. And I love these because they only grow 10 to 15 inches tall and wide, so it's almost about its full-grown size. So how great is that? To find an evergreen that stays like nice and petite, great for containers and great as an accent evergreen. And then this huge grass, which I love. This is a Prairie Winds Cheyenne Sky Panicum. These are a great perennial grass, super tough, like the sun, but look at the fall color. That's why I brought it over here. The fall color with the purples in there and the yellows, and then the seed heads are just gorgeous. Wonderful for cut arrangements as well. Okay, so there's one more plant I brought over, and it's more of an honorable mention because it is bloomed out right now. It's just kind of past its peak, and that's the Rock and Grow Maestro SEDUM. But I still think it's a gorgeous plant, even though it's done with its bloom time. We just planted a bunch of these in one of our landscape makeover videos that I did behind the gazebo. I can't wait to see what they do next year. But the reason why I wanted to bring this one over is because I wanted to tell you to leave the flower stalks up. If you have this type of plant in your garden, I never clean them up until spring because the flower stalks stay nice and sturdy and they stay upright and they look gorgeous with frost and snow on top of them. In fact, I have a picture. I mean, look at that. That is so pretty with frost on top. So that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of these beautiful plants and how wonderful they're looking, even though we're almost to the end of October. I would love to know which one is your favorite and what your plan is for next year, and if you plan to plant any of these in your garden. So leave a comment in the comment section below. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.